So this video is going to be all about the dark and how confusing this print run is, but also how rare the set actually is. Welcome back to my channel. I am Mattcaster Mage and I make Magic the Gathering content every single day, so please hit that subscribe button and help me reach 5,000 subscribers. Yes, I know my background right here is not really Magic related, but I felt like a change of scenery. I was kind of reorganizing my display in the back, and I just felt like, changing things up a bit. Now, let's talk about the Dark. The Dark is one of the oldest sets in Magic the Gathering, one of the first expansion sets in Magic the Gathering, but there's a lot of confusion about the print run of the set. Even when I was digging deep into the info for this set, I couldn't find as much reliable information as I found with other sets with cross-referencing. But I'm going to do my best to try to unhinge what I believe to be is a very, very rare set. Now, so here's the weird thing about their print run. So first, there was an estimated 62 million copies printed ever. That was the print run, was like just 62 million cards ever printed. That was the original press release, but then later on, they actually said that it was, it's 63 million is what Scry noted, which is one of the older Magic the Gathering magazines. And then later on in 1994, the Duelist was quoted saying there was 65 million copies ever printed. So then people were kind of accepting that I guess that's 65 million cards printed for the Dark. And that's not where it ends. And then later on, for more clarification, Tom Wiley, who's a representative for Wizards of the Coast, said that there was 75 million copies of cards printed in the Dark. So it's a little confusing. It depends on which information you are going. As for a fact, it can go somewhere between 62 million to 75 million cards printed from the Dark. So that makes it a little bit harder to detect the value and the amount of cards for each card, but you have to also remember, it's still pretty rare considering how old the set is. Regardless if it's 62 million or 75 million, people weren't playing a lot of cards with sleeves back then. It wasn't really seen as like a collectible game at this point yet, even though people were collecting it. Now it's definitely seen more of a collectible. People immediately put their rare cards or their shiny cards into sleeves right away or into their binders, right? But back in the day, they didn't really treat the cards that way. So moving forward, so the rarity of this set. So it wasn't one of those typical sets where they'd have, like nowadays it'd be rare, and then you got uncommon, common. It wasn't like that. There was a U1, a U2, a C1, and a C2. Now, this is the way it's broken down. So U1 has roughly 134,000 copies of each card printed. U2 has 269,000 cards of each printing, and C1 is 403,000, C2 is 1,209,000 cards. So that is the easiest to get commons. So you're looking at 1,209,000 copies of each of those cards if you have a common from the Dark. Now, what are those cards? So let's break this down even further. What cards have 1,209,000 copies of? Well, you're looking at cards like Ashes to Ashes. Yes, it is a very iconic card, and it's one of those cards that whenever I think of the Dark, for some reason that's one of the commons that comes to my mind, is Ashes to Ashes. But then another one actually, which is also a pretty iconic card, I believe, is Bog Rats. That's got 1,209,000 printed of that card as well. So those are the easiest to find commons. Now, if you want to look at the hardest to find rares, right, which aren't really rares, they're hard to find uncommons from the Dark. Now you're looking at cards like Ball Lightning with 134,000 ever printed. Now, that was a card that was seeing play in even Modern at one point. It's one of those cards where you trample, but it also is a 6/1 and you sacrifice the end of the turn. It was a card that I used in casual decks before I even started playing different formats. It was just a really fun aggro red card to play. So there's only 134,000. So that's actually pretty scarce considering, how playable that card is. Remember, back then, people were playing these cards without sleeves. They weren't seen as a collectible at this point. It was seen mostly just as a game. And so another iconic card that only has 134,000 estimated printings of this card is Blood Moon. Blood Moon. The original, the Dark Blood Moon. Now, just imagine if Modern sees a resurgence. That was one of those cards that, you know, it was just so played in Modern, but it was also one of the cards that, if you think about the Dark, that was the seller for this set before people started looking to reserve list cards. When it came to just playable cards, Blood Moon was really up there. And there's only 134,000 printings of this card from the Dark. That's it. Now that's an iconic card. That is a card that I think is going to see significant rises in value in the near future. So now another card, and this one is actually a reserve list card, so think about that for a second. Reserve list card, iconic card from the Dark, and it's one of the rarest copies you can get. City of Shadows. Only 134,000 printings of this card. And this card is one of the ones that we've been tracking a lot. It's on the market movers as it is a reserve list card. And for a while there was a lot of reserve list buyouts, and this is one of those cards that was seeing those significant gains over the period of 2021 and is still holding a very, very nice price right now at the moment. So this is the breakdown, but again, this is one of those sets that there's a lot of people who argue back and forth, a lot of cross-referencing for different data points, and you can't really come to a determination about what exactly is the real print run of this set. It seems like to be one of the hardest out of all the older sets that actually disclose their information for print runs. It's one of the most mysterious out there. And that kind of fits the tone for the Dark. It's dark and mysterious. You don't really know how many cards were fully printed, but whether it was 62, 64 million, 65 million, or even 70 plus million, we all know that it's still a very rare, unique set, very iconic set, and it's one of the sets that I think is going to keep rising in the future, especially sealed product, but also just the single cards in that set, as there's just not a lot of them nowadays, you know, that you can find for mint condition, especially the rare cards, which were the U1 cards. Alright, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you found it informative. Maybe it can help you make a purchasing decision later in the future. And then, yeah, let me know what you think. And again, I am Mattcaster Mage. I make videos every single day, so please subscribe to the channel if you are new or seeing me out there for the first time. Okay, with that being said, I'm going to go do some more research on older sets. Being a patron will help me produce more market movers and add to the funds that I will use for my random buys, and also to my coffee fund, because I drink a lot of coffee for these videos. And here you can see a link below in the description that will give you all the tiers and what you get in each tier. So I hope you guys click and think about joining. And with that, I'll see you next video. Think about supporting the channel in that way. If not, subscribe, like, leave a comment, and I will see you again in the next video.